Hello students, let's read the problem. And it says, square A has an area of 16 square units and square B has an area of 9 square units. Based on this information, which of the following statements is true? Okay, so I'm looking for a what? I'm looking for a true statement, right? And they're giving us some information about some squares, right? It says up here that square A, it's 16 square units, and B, it's 9 square units. So what about if we go to the actual picture and we write down the information, right? So it says square A, so this one is 16 square units, and square B, it's 9 square units. Okay, now if you look at that picture, if you look at the what's given to you, do you notice that it is a right triangle in the middle? There's a little box right here. That's a right triangle. So what comes to your mind when you see this kind of model? Anything? Hopefully the Pythagorean Theorem. And if you're like, what is that? Okay, let's see if now this formula reminds you of that. The Pythagorean Theorem states that a squared plus b squared is equals to c squared. And this is something that has to do with area of a square. Because if you recall, and I'm going to do a little drawing over here, if I have a square here and I'm looking for the area for that, right? And let's suppose that the length is a. Well, wouldn't you multiply a times a? So area will be equals to a squared. Is that right? So basically, my area is actually when you multiply length times length. Is that right? So square A already has the area given to you. Square B already has the what? The area given to you. Is that right? So according to my problem over here, it says A and B and C. But how do I know who's A, B, and C, right? Well, if you remember, the Pythagorean theorem states that C will always be the longest side. That is right there. Is that right? So this will be my C, right? And then, of course, this will be could be A and B. Now, remember, A and B can interchange. The one that you cannot interchange is C, okay? So this means that the area of a square A, that would be A squared, right there. Is that right? And that is equals to how much? 16 square units. What about B? That is 9 square units, right? And this will be what? C squared. Now remember, what is C squared? Well, C squared is basically the area of a square C, okay? So if you add 16 plus 9, it gives me what? 25, and that will be C squared. So if you translate that, basically means that the area, right, of square C has to be 25 square units. Is that right? Okay, so keep this in mind because you are gonna see it. This is the actual model for this one. Okay, so let's look at the answer choices. Letter A says the area of a square C is 239 square units. Nope, it's not 234, right? It's how much? It's 25, okay? So that A cannot be my answer. What about C? The area of a square C is 7 units because of the difference. What is difference? Isn't that when you subtract? Am I subtracting? No, what am I doing? We are adding. So, nope, that's not the answer. What about C? The area of a square C is 25 square units because it is the sum of the areas of a square A and B. Is that true? Yeah, that's what we did, right? Let's see letter D. The area of a square C is 12.2 square units. Nope, it's 25 we said, right? So therefore my answer, it is going to be letter C. This is something that you need to remember, okay? We're talking about areas. We're not just talking about A plus B equals C. No, 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 no. We're talking about A squared, which at the end of the day, we agree, and I put it over here for you guys. A squared is the same thing about what? Area. Very good. So that was the answer.